Yes, I did. Yeah.
Makes
Yeah.
sense, Dave.
I'll have a chat with you after.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you mind, Mayor, introducing Councillor Appleby as online now in case some of the
Sure.
people in the gallery?
Yeah, will do.
You ready?
Yep.
You're on.
Okay. All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our regular public council meeting for Monday, April 14, 2025. First thing, new business. Councillor Tepper.
Pass.
Councillor Manning.
I'll pass.
Councillor Pollard.
Congratulations.
Okay. Councillor Appleby is joining us online. Do you have something for to go around?
Thank you, and a reminder to vote.
Okay.
Mayor, thanks.
Deputy Mayor.
Pass.
And I just got a thanks. Okay, is there anybody that wants to get on the first Q&A session? Let's hear it. Okay. Alrighty, with that in mind, can I get a motion to adopt the agenda as amended, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried, thank you. We have a set of public council minutes from March 31st. Could I get a motion to adopt those, please?
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any errors or omissions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Conflict of interest, there's just one item here was handed out, 10 Rustworthy Place. And also, as per normal, if there's an issue comes up during the course of the meeting, please highlight the fact that you might have a conflict, and we'll deal with it at that time. Okay, proclamations. The first one is World Maternal Mental Health Day. Councillor Manning.
Okay. World Maternal Mental Health Day, May the 7th, 2025. Whereas pregnancy and childbirth or adoption and the infant's first year of life should be a period of joy and bonding for the entire family. And whereas 28% of mothers in Newfoundland and Labrador will experience a significant mood disorder during and after pregnancy, possibly leading to a more severe mental illness. And whereas untreated, these mood orders may lead to premature labor, admission to the neonatal intensive care unit, increased risk of obstetric complications, lower breastfeeding rates, and poor fetal and infant outcomes, potential cognitive, emotional, and behavioral impairments, and in rare cases, even to suicide. And whereas there are professionals and peers in Newfoundland and Labrador who can assist parents and families deal with mood disorders. And whereas the Prenatal Mental Health Alliance of Newfoundland and Labrador has been created to improve the care provided to birthing persons and their families.
Be it resolved that I, Mayor Craig Scott, proclaim May 7th, 2025 World Maternal Mental Health Day in the town of Torbay, Newfoundland and Labrador. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments?
Can
Go ahead.
I jump in there, Mayor?
Sure. Go ahead.
Frozen up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yep.
we can hear you.
This
You're
one
just-
is important. There's a lot of women and families who experience. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. There's a lot of women and a lot of families who, okay, thank you, who experience situations whereby their loved ones or their partners work away, work on turnarounds, that kind of thing. There's a whole lot of players here to dealing with mental health and newborns and changes in the family and I know firsthand, I've got 2 kids that, parenting is the best job they'll ever have, but also, very difficult, especially if you're doing it without your family, without your partner and supports in place. So I think this is really important. There was a word in the content that Councillor Manning read out, and it said should be a good time. And should is always a word that we as a red flag. I think it's important that no matter how people feel, no matter what they're experiencing, no matter what they need for support, reaching out, asking for help, support, having an open conversation about the importance of mental health, and big changes like this and having families, how important that is. So I just want to say thank you to Council for bringing this forward. It's very important to have this conversation like the rest of the mental health discussions that we have, and very happy to support this. Thanks, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Any other comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Next, we have a proclamation for Earth Day, April 22nd, 2025. Councillor Pollard.
Thank you, Your Worship. Proclamation is recognizing April 22nd, 2025 as Earth Day. Whereas Earth Day has been celebrated annually since 1970 to honor the beauty of our planet, recommit to actions to promote a healthy environment, and to maintain a peaceful, just, and sustainable world. And whereas this Earth Day, our goal is to gain a deeper understanding of why biodiversity is so vital to ecosystem balance, food security, and tackling the challenges of climate change. And whereas protecting biodiversity is essential for maintaining the balance of ecosystems, regulating the climate, pollinating crops, and purifying water, services that are vital to human life. And whereas each species, whether animal or plant, plays a unique role, and their disappearance threatens ecological stability and our own survival. And whereas the town of Torbay has been successful in partnering with the Stewardship Association of Municipalities in having a green team approved for the 2025 season. And whereas this year, the green team will be highlighting the cultural and ecological significance of Torbay ponds in a project called the Ponds of Torbay. Whereas there are 6 major ponds in Torbay that are easily accessible and offer a variety of benefits to the town, from swimming, walking, skating, snowmobiling, fishing, birding, and many other recreational activities. And by highlighting the ecological and recreational benefits of our ponds, residents of Torbay will be inspired to use these natural amenities more frequently, contributing to the stewardship of these valuable places and to a healthier lifestyle for residents. Whereas the Green Team will work with the Stewardship Association of Municipalities to understand the ecological importance of each, conduct species surveys to determine the biodiversity of these areas, and share their knowledge via Torbay's social media channels. Whereas the town of Torbay has partnered with Earth Day, multiple municipalities across the country, and a number of organizations and citizens locally to meet the goals of Earth Day. This includes, but is not limited to, Partners for Climate Protection, the National Garden Council, SAM and Eastern Habitat Joint Ventures, the Conservation Corps of Newfoundland and Labrador, Munn Botanical Garden, the Torbay Environment Advisory Committee, and the East Coast Trail Association, and Ducks Unlimited Canada.
Now therefore, on behalf of the Council of the Town of Torbay and on behalf of the citizens of Torbay, I hereby proclaim Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025 as Earth Day. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments?
I just want to comment, it's great that we continue to put the environment, front and center in what we do as a town of Torbay, and I think everything that comes through our planning and development department certainly has that ecological edge on it, or that sustainability edge, and given the insecurities in the world at the present time, I think it's better served for us to look at what land that we have within the town of Torbay and give some thought to the overall economics of farming and things of that nature too, so we can actually look for self-sustainability.
Agreed. Any other comment? Well, one thing I find interesting, that Earth Day has been on the go since 1970, which I like to refer to as the year of the mayor. But for the town of Torbay, our participation with SAM in particular and the NCC, who monitor, and manage the gully and some other areas in our town. I think that we've come a long way in the last number of years in terms of environmental protections and what we do as a town and wetland study and all these things. So I think it's really good, and that we are seeing as a leader in the province with our municipalities, and I think it's really great that we're able to do this proclamation. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, sir. Where to? Presentation, there's none. Q&A, there's none. Mayor's report. Just wanted to touch on, I know that Councillor Tapper, and he was going to be joined by the Deputy Mayor as she's done in years past to go visit the grade 3 students at Holy Trinity Elementary. And thank you, Councillor Tapper and Charlie, for getting these delivered to me. I had an opportunity today, I got 22 letters here, I believe, from students at the elementary school, and they all outlined items that they would like council to look at, and they drew pictures, attached them all. I think that's, I thank them for sending those, and I will commit that I'm gonna write back a letter to each of these 22 students and thank them for their suggestions. There was one overriding request that they had, or topic, and it all had to do with more trash cans in the town of Torbay. And you know, I commend them, because the reasons that they gave for the need for more trash cans and garbage cans was to keep the environment cleaner, and it kind of really rolls into what we're talking about here with Earth Day. To keep the ditches clean. One brought up safety, about sharp objects potentially in someone's trash that they throw out. They also talked about having a place for pick up dog poop, which I thought was actually pretty important, considering all the things that we see related to that online. About making our water cleaner and not having garbage end up in the ocean. So they were very thoughtful on the different reasons that they felt we should have more garbage cans in the town. And I kind of was talking to Kim about this today, clerk, and I said, you know, it's kind of amazing that these young students, these young people, how focused they are on what it is that they're asking for. They're asking for one thing that's not outrageous, that the town could actually do and benefit from. I said, and their parents, they asked for the moon and everything else that go along with that. So I think it's amazing. I thank them for sending this in. Thank you, Councillor Tapper, and sorry, Deputy Mayor, you couldn't get over with the students this year, but I've been over there myself, and it's really a lot of fun, and to realize how much thought they put into their interactions with members of council when they go over. So it's I just want to thank them for doing that, and I will make sure that I write back some letters to them to thank them for what they done. So that's it. That's the extent, I guess, of my mayor's report for today. And then we already did birthdays for April, right?
No, you didn't.
Oh, we did?
But you did them last meeting when I wasn't here. Sorry.
Did I?
Oh.
You did the April ones last
Yeah.
meeting, yeah.
Last week, yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Tony
I
Pollard was
remember
on.
Tony
Yeah.
was in there.
So, anyway, I hope you're still all having a good birthday month in April. And if anybody didn't guess, my birthday is in August, 1970, year of the mayor.
1970.
All right, so that's enough of that. All right, let's move on. Business Rising report. Anybody have anything on that they would like to talk about?
Standard question.
Standard question, standard answer.
Which is,
Yeah, I'll just give you a quick update. We did receive an email last week while I was off from Housing, Infrastructure and Communities, myself and Kerry. Kerry, I don't know if you had a chance to review that email yet, but we did get that email. Essentially what it's saying is that they anticipate the process will be a few months as we gather additional information, which we were aware of anyway. But they did make a statement in there that I will share with you as well, where they indicated that because of the federal election, federal employees are refraining from carrying out certain activities. So they've said that nothing will be done with this until after the election, essentially. So as soon as the election's over, we'll hopefully start working with these people to put all of the additional information together. That's it.
Oh, and one other thing too, to add to that, because it's in line with that. I did reach out, and as I said last council meeting that I would, I had a conversation with Minister Hutton, and we are in the process now of trying to line up a meeting with him and some of his staff and some of our staff. So hopefully I'll hear something more on that in the near future. I know that clerk has followed up with him about setting up a meeting time.
Just
To talk about funding.
aside from the funding side of things, for the application and the actual, I guess, rollout, I mean, because we can't really wait for the feds to come back to us and in another month or 2 months' time without having any of our groundwork done for it, right? So I assume that we are still gonna work towards getting the information that we can in terms of like,
Absolutely,
the
yeah.
ownership around
Yeah.
the usage,
Yeah.
where things potentially can go, what some of the answers are. Which leads me to my my next segue, I guess, is into the meeting that's scheduled with Great Pond residents itself at the end of April. Is it our intention to have some information for them other than the fact that we have the funding? Are we gonna have some idea of what maybe land can be used for and things of that nature? Because I've had a number of questions on that, on that side of things. And I certainly wouldn't want to sit in the meeting and not have answers that we can readily have already. There's going to be a lot that we're going to depending on how the funding of that rolls out from the federal government. But certainly anything we can answer in-house, I think we should have in hand.
Yeah, and I'll let Julia jump in here in a second, but we have scheduled that meeting for the purpose of answering questions. I mean, that's the intent, to give everybody an indication of what's going on. The residents did ask for information, so we felt the best thing to do was to give it to everyone at the same time, rather than dealing with it piecemeal. We did invite the Water Resources Division, but they declined our offer. So any questions associated with that, obviously we won't be able to answer, but the Water Resources Division did say that any questions that come up, to forward it to them, and they will endeavor to answer them there. So we'll be right up front with them at the beginning of the meeting and indicate that, you know, we can't answer questions on behalf of the provincial government. However, we will try and answer as many questions as we can with respect to the intent. So Julia, is there anything else you wanted to add to that?
Just that, is this on?
No. There you go.
Okay, now it is. We will definitely have a kind of an opening presentation, and the Water Resources did forward a copy of their policy for potable water supply, so we're gonna familiarize ourselves with that also. So it'll be a mix of the presentation and hopefully being able to answer some questions, and then for the rest of them, we're gonna have to collect those and forward them to Water Resources. And I understand Water Resources is already fielding questions directly from residents.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have access to those questions from residents for our own use, by any chance? Any way we can possibly get those with it?
I haven't received, you mean from Water Resources?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen any of those. I received direct questions from the residents that we've been dealing with, so we tried to answer those questions, but
Would it be possible to see if the Water Resources can copy us on what they're getting in the responses? We could ask them.
yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, good. Got to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
All right, anything else? All right, thank you. Correspondence, we have a invitation here for the April 28th is National Day of Mourning. I'm actually happy to see this one here in here, because I know we used to get this invitation for a long time, and then for like, it seemed like 3 or 4 years we didn't get it, and then I'd see on social media somewhere that they're out there laying the wreath, so I'm glad that we got this time, so to remind us, and hopefully we can get someone to go out, or we certainly get a wreath to lay on behalf of the town.
Came by regular mail.
Oh, yeah? Cool. All right, thank you. So if anybody is interested in attending that, it's April 28th. What day is that? Is that a Saturday?
No, I don't believe so, Mayor.
It's a
isn't it?
Monday.
Yeah,
Monday. So if anybody's available,
we have a council meeting that night.
oh, do we? Yeah, but that happens in daytime.
Yes.
Daytime, 11:45, yeah.
Okay, all right, so we'll pass on that one. M&L Budget 2025, this is just an update from M&L on the asks that M&L had for Budget 25 for information purposes. M&L Municipal Success, and this is we actually talked about this one when we were in Marystown at UMC. The successes that M&L has had with the province and the asks for the federal government coming up for the election. And an M&L reaction to the provincial budget. Thank you, Kim, for putting them in the package. I know that we get these in our info notes, but I know that not everybody necessarily might be signed up for those, and if your inbox is ending like mine, you're getting many emails every day, and it's hard to keep track of everything. So it is nice when we get these communications from M&L who are representing us to put them in the package so that make sure that they don't get lost. So, thank you. All right, committees of council. Planning, land use development, Councillor Pollard.
Thank you, Your Worship. Trying to get the report to play nicely with me here. Okay, so the first item up is a motion relating to a home office for tourism and transportation. There's an application in place for 10 Russell Place and associated with the transportation and tourism business. Be a fleet of 3 commercial vehicles. This larger type buses, sort of like, I'll say like the party bus, but not the party bus, and that type thing, for storage in this area. The zoning allows for this type use. There won't be any additional traffic outside. It'll be just going and coming with the parking of those units, and some will be in the garage. So the motion to conditionally approve application BR 2025-001 for the operation of a home-based office in association with the transportation and tourism business at 10 Russell Place in accordance with regulations 33 and 90, the Torbay Development Regulations 2015 to 2025, pertaining to discretionary uses, and the development being subject to meeting standard conditions for the operation of home offices in Torbay and as outlined in the attached report. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed?
No, she said aye.
Oh, okay, sorry. Councillor Rappy, there's a little delay between the screen and,
I heard her,
but
Yeah.
rest assured,
I'll let you know if I'm,
okay.
no, I have a different, I'll let you know, but no, I've been putting my hand on, thank you.
All right, thank you.
The next item there is, and it's good timing actually, because it has after the proclamation of Earth Day. There was a planner's plate hosted by Town of Torbay the week before last, of which the Ducks Unlimited gave a presentation. So that presentation is now attached for everybody's use, so that's all that item is. And then the final motion is to accept Torbay 2025 permit listings for the week ending April 10th, 2025 as tabled. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Good, yeah.
Carried.
Just on the, once again, the report seems fairly short, but there are a lot of things still ongoing in the background. We know we're still accumulating the information for Amendment 17, and as well the 1669 Torbay Road, so there's still some information being processed on that, and that will be coming back to the table, I guess, maybe at our next meeting, or if not the meeting after that.
Okay,
So
thank
that's my
you.
report, Your Worship.
All right, any questions on any of those items in the planning report?
Mayor, can I just say thank you for adding the wetland deck in the package? I think that was fabulous when I had to read through it. There's a lot of really good content in there, and I just want to extend a thank you for that being added. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Any other comments? All right, thank you, sir. Admin and HR Deputy Mayor, but I think Councillor Manning is gonna do it, or are you gonna do it, Mary? Okay, carry on.
I'm just thinking of why you said that, but anyway, we had our meeting on April 8th, and self and Councillor Manning and Chief of HR were in attendance. Recruitment, I'm not going to go down over these because they've been the similar ones that have been there from basically 2 weeks ago. But I guess for the planning and development ambassador, I would assume that a selection, or you're close to a selection. Mark, as of Friday, you had the interviews?
Yeah, we're just waiting now.
So at this point, we're just waiting for a portfolio of work to come in for some work samples in terms of their writing capabilities and some of the work they've done. So we'll have a decision made at some point before the end of this week.
Okay. And the couple of other ones there was, I can say though, announce that recreation customer service representatives, part-time. There's 3 people that have been hired there on a part-time casual basis, and they are Susan Howlett, Pamela Mullins, and Diane Hanlon. So we're pleased to have those 3 individuals join our existing recreation customer service team at the Common for the next several months. And the other one is recreation, that one is still posted, Recreation Community Services Coordinator. Anybody got any questions on the others that are, comments that are in there? There's no new as such.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Corporate Services, Councillor Pollard.
Thank you, Your Worship. The information leading up to the motions is up in front of the report. There's information on the payroll, there's a check register there as well as the accounts payable report. I just want to refer to item E before we get down to the motion. The compressor that fills the SCBA's for the fire department is on the blitz, shall we say, and there's a need for repair in the amount of some $7,200 plus tax, and it wasn't budgeted per se, so the chief has come up with accounts where that can be taken from, so the motion will refer to that, but it is not something that we can really not do at this point in time. So they're going to try to work within their budget, and if something else happens, then we'll address that at that point in time. So I'll move down to the motion number 1, and motion number 1 refers exactly to that. The committee proposes reallocating funds in the amount of $7,200 from account 50576110, hoses and equipment to cover the cost of the compressor repair, to account number 50566110, SCBA maintenance. The repair is essential for maintaining safety and functionality of our air filtration system, which is critical for our operations. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Motion number 2 relates to the Neil Maynard tournament sponsorship, and the committee had some discussion about that in terms of how that relates to the donation to the Northeast Eagles, but this was considered, at least in our mind, sort of a separate, and we did also sponsor the tournament last year. So in accordance with the town's donation policy, the committee recommends a donation of $200 towards the cost of this, hosting this tournament. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And I have one favor,
Sorry.
Go ahead.
please.
Go ahead, Councillor Appley.
Just one comment. Sorry, Greg, I don't have the best connection. I think that it's important, I would support this motion, but I think it's important, there's some of these tournaments and events that happen in the community that council has historically and continues to support. And I think it would be important if we could maybe do a list of what ones they are. You know, there's certain ones for the year, I just think it's really important to have it identified, especially with an election coming up in October. But, you know, there's certain things that we do with here that we contribute to, and this is one of that conversation about the longevity of it, and the fact that it's been happening for so long, it's happening in the community, for people in the community, raising money for good causes and staying in the community, that kind of stuff. So just wanted to note that, so there's no confusion about where these things fit within our policy. Thanks, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you. Do we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
The next request was sort of, I guess, an outlier from the committee's perspective, and being as a request that comes back to council anyway to make a decision. It was a committee request from the Holy Trinity Cemeteries, Torbay Inc. The request to support the maintenance and upkeep of the historic and cherished community assets located in the town's hub. Holy Trinity Cemeteries Inc. is requesting an annual grant of $7,500 to cover labor costs, materials, and equipment. The committee discussed this request and at this time recommends not approving the donation as it falls outside our donation policy guidelines and is not within our budget means. So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Comments?
I think we also discussed the heritage value as well, and that, you know, maybe some other means at some point in time for heritage related infrastructure and assets in the town, but certainly not at this time. I don't think we're in a position to really address that until we take some other focus or tack on what our historic assets are, how we move forward.
Okay, any other comment?
Just to say that, you know, it was a very important endeavor, I think, put into town, especially when you saw the mess of the graveyards right on our main roads going through. So, you know, again, it's outside our means this year, but maybe next year we could step up.
Any other comment? Can I ask a question? So this is talking about 2 operating cemeteries, right? That one and the one in Ballyline. And 2, basically, I think, municipal heritage structures with the prayer garden and the old cemetery. So they're kind of the heritage piece. And, okay, so, yeah, I agree with your Alf. For something like that, that needs to come forward at budget time as a request.
And just to mention too, when time comes, obviously we got to look at the other congregation here, the Anglican Church.
Right.
They've got the oldest graveyard in Torbay near the beach as a heritage site, right? So plus their graveyard up by the church itself. So we gotta kind of, you know, consider them as well.
Yep. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. So that in favor was in favor of the
Rejection.
motion to reject, right?
Reject.
Okay.
Be careful there.
Just so we're all clear.
The next one was a medical assistance donation request, and this was brought forward at one point in time before. It was asked to be brought back to committee for review, and committee reviewed it, and we don't believe that it falls within our donation policy as it currently exists. So the committee discussed this request at this time, recommends not approving the donation as it falls outside our donation policy guidelines. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The following,
Mayor,
Yeah.
on that one, I know that we had a discussion the last time about where this fits within our policy, but I think it's really important. I don't know if we can maybe ask community services to go back and look at that again to see if there's anywhere. I understand this is out of province travel, and I think there's still maybe a conversation around criteria. So if this point doesn't fit within the policy, I'm okay to support the motion, but I just ask that committee go back and look at that again to see if there is any room for consideration for a province, like through that circumstances. I don't know if it makes sense or not, but definitely would ask that it be looked at again. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Carry on, sir.
next is invoices over $5,000. First one is Canada Life Group benefits for April, in the amount of $14,211.97. CIBC Mellon pension contribution for March, $29,194.38. First Call Electrical and Contracting Limited to complete the gatehouse enclosure at the depot in the amount of $13,100. Harvey's Oil Limited for diesel, $5,651.39. The Municipal Assessment Agency, the second quarter assessment in the amount of $25,831. Newfoundland Power, the group billing for March in the amount of $21,955.25. Newfoundland Power for street lighting in the amount of $19,600.96. Platinum Construction Company Limited for Pine Ridge culvert replacements in the amount of $76,068.89. Receiver General of Canada payroll remittance in the amount of $63,138.03. WSP E&I Canada Limited for North Pond treatment in the amount of $9,428.28. And WSP again for the 2024 culvert replacement project on Woodfine Lane in the amount of $13,590.12, all totaling $291,770.27. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
That's it for me, Your Worship.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, moving right along. Economic Development, Tourism, History and Culture, Councillor Tepper.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our committee met on Monday, April 7th. Just highlight some of the items that we covered. The History House basement, for some time now, we've had a mold issue in the basement. Unfortunately, it's still an ongoing issue, but we have a report pending very soon, and hopefully we'll have some idea what can be done to remediate that whole basement area. Right now, it's off limits to staff. So, the Best of Torbay Awards are coming up. I believe we got another notice in our emails today, but the invitations have gone out to the winners and the nominees and the guests, so hopefully that's going to be a good evening, great turnout at the Common. The Mannion Project, there's a meeting scheduled next week for the website to be designed in the near future, hopefully. The annex proposal to ACOA. The initial meeting held with ACOA to gauge interest in this project. It was a very positive discussion, and we're working to revise the proposal and have it resubmitted to ACOA in early May. So with that donation that was announced at our last meeting, that's a great foundation for this, I think, and we could top this up with some ACOA funding as well. Immigration, developing guides and information booklet for newcomers in Torbay for print distribution to key locations and also for the website. So that's a great initiative as well. Marketing communications, development of promotional strategy for summer events, weekly concerts, time in Torbay and other key events, and ongoing work on website design work on immigration materials. So again, our man in motion, I guess you might call him, he's around the community and picking up these items and getting them out to the public as quick as he can. The History House, Donna, our manager, gave a report. So visitations from all sources, meetings, programs, visitors number 363 for March. Total volunteer hours were 58.5 hours. That's great stats for the History House again. So a Hall of Fame committee has been formed, and there are 4 nominations, and these are for mostly past performers in the community. We started that last year, and we're going to have another nomination and presentation later on in the summer. Just to mention the Bradburn Memorial, this has been on the go now for some while, but we are making a little progress as far as getting design work done and hopefully some quotes in the near future. So there's a potential name change being considered by the advisory committee at the History House. So we're hoping to remove the word museum. So it's the Torbay History House and Museum. Apparently we've been having some trouble with getting grants from the provincial government especially because of the word museum. They don't give funding to museums in the province anymore, so We're going to chat about this at our next meeting, and hopefully we'll have some kind of recommendation. So there is one motion. I have it here somewhere. So the town of Torbay is proud to host and support the East Coast Trail Association Trail Raiser Committee hike that will be held on June the 7th, 2025 within the town of Torbay. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, this is not our first time hosting this event, and of course, the East Coast Trail is a great attraction, going right through Torbay and all along the Killy coast. So we've guaranteed our support again and getting this publicized, and hopefully some help along the trailway as well. So again, it's June the 7th, 2025. If anybody wants to, and there's a Torbay team, the Coyotes. They've been renowned for being one of the top fundraisers among communities, you know, for that trail. So they're back in business again this year. So if you want to sponsor them or any person, individual on that team, you can contact the town, I guess, and then we'll get. But this will be publicized, and we'll have some news briefs going out on this. So I guess that's my report. If there's any question.
Yeah, just to follow up on that.
Can we get a seconder for the?
Oh, okay.
I did.
Yeah, second. It's just not voted on.
There we go.
Carry on.
Sorry. I'm train of thought. No, yeah, so the East Coast Trail Association, for anybody who's looking online, were here and did a presentation for us, and this is sort of supposed to garner, I guess, a challenge to other communities in the area to come out. So I suggest that the mayor write a letter to the other towns, challenge them to come out for the fundraiser, so we can try to get as many people as we can to get the money together so that we can maintain the trail and its beauty and bring in all the tourism and all the benefits that brings into the town of Torbay especially.
Yep, that's part of my plan.
Don't ask, tell.
Well, we're gonna, before I say anything else, does anybody else have any comment on this? Part of the strategy with the East Coast Trail Association, along with this Trail Raiser, was that I would put out a challenge to the other communities to form teams and come and participate in the Trail Raiser and hopefully try and raise some money. But most importantly, come to the town of Torbay, participate in the Trail Raiser and all the events surrounding that. So, you know, I certainly will be doing that. And I know that we have a press release that's going to go out. I don't know if it's gone out yet, but it will. But that is the plan.
One important item, if I could mention, I forgot it. There's a detour this year. We got a detour away from Tappers Cove because of the construction down there. And Julia's staff have been looking after that as well, along with the East Coast Trail Association.
Okay, perfect. Any other comment? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I just got a question there, or for clarification in here, on the History House grounds with regards to the Bradbury Memorial, the RFP, and I guess we just need to, for clarification on that once we get to the point that an RFP is going out on that, does that then fall back to Brian, I'm assuming? Because for any monuments or facilities and what have you, because sometimes there's a clear line between some of these, because it sounds like the memorial might be decided by the committee.
Any new construction projects will be oversaw by Brian, and my understanding is once it's built, then the day-to-day maintenance will be under recreation.
Yoo-hoo.
Yeah, I was just reading the RFP because I wasn't aware of it. But yeah, so I think that was the intent when we moved the facilities under community services and recreation, that they would take care of them after the fact, and infrastructure and public works would be taking care of the actual builds.
Yeah,
my
so
understanding.
that's, I guess, when the committee now ends up working closely for the design of that with somebody on your team, because while it's going along and being talked about, then it leaves economic development, then goes back to you, back to recreation or Jen, and then for the facilities to maintain it while it's on the History House grounds. So really, all three groups are actually involved in it. So the timing of all that, to make sure that we don't lose any time, as we were hoping to have that memorial done this summer. I know the family are, so,
Certainly. We have a directors meeting in the morning, I believe, so we'll probably have a chat about that in the morning.
okay. Yes, another one to add on your list if you don't mind. Thanks.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Question on that one, Mayor?
Go ahead. Can you hear me?
Do we have a motion? Yeah. Do we have a motion to move forward with the RFP? Just curious if that's been a decision of council. I don't recall it, but I just wanted to check if
For what?
we'd actually have a decision of council to move forward with this. Thanks.
What is it for? What was the question?
Question is, do we have a motion of council to go forward with an RFP?
No, that's in the works according to this here, right?
Yeah.
They haven't
That's for
decided yet.
monument?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not that far yet.
Right, so when it comes to, it'll
Yeah.
come back to council
Yeah.
for motion to go to RFP. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay? All right. Thank you.
But is there a motion to move forward with the monument? Have we had that
No.
discussion in council?
That'll
We're
be,
instructing staff to look at it and write an RFP. So
right.
I think I'd invite consideration around an information package for the public, and then as a motion of council, to direct staff to take the action to work on an RFP, if we're gonna go down that road. I think it's important that the public understand what this is about, and that there be a direction of council for heading in that direction. Thank you.
the advisory council is giving us the direction for it.
Okay, we'll get an update on
For
that.
clarification, my understanding is that council provides a direction for council. So I think it's important if the advisory committee provides a recommendation to council, that council then motion it to give a direction to staff. But I just want to make sure we're following a proper process and that the public is aware of what we're looking to do here. Staff are allocating resources and time into this space. I'm not against it, I'm just saying we need to make sure we're following due process.
Exactly, so once the committee recommends back to council to go, this project should go to RFP, and these are all the details around it, then council will decide at that point, right? Yeah, okay.
If I could mention that this all came about last year because it was the 50th anniversary of the tragedy of the fire. So, you know, I'm not sure if anything was brought forward then at that time for, you know, consideration. So maybe we'll check the minutes and see.
All right, okay. Thank you.
My recollection, we've had discussions about this, but I don't think we've had any motions.
No.
So that's why I wanted to ask the question, because I think it might be time for looking at having a conversation about an RFP. Anyway, thanks, guys, appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to put in there for some of the history on that. We were going to do something last year, and we were going to have a not a celebration, it was a ceremony that we were going to have. But then Terry Bradbury passed away in the midst of it all. So then what they had at his funeral was anybody that wanted to give a donation, they gave the donation towards the memorial for the monument rather than for the family at that time. So then it became a bigger response to it all than was originally anticipated. So that's why it's gone on maybe even a bit longer than what we had talked about. So that's another information in there since it's been ongoing since that time, but it's finally reaching some kind of an ending. All right.
All right, okay, thank you. That it? Yes. All right, thank you very much. Infrastructure,
I have one question on the report, though, before we move forward.
okay?
I noted that there was a question there about potentially having, I think, Noam Moritz come back as a committee member And I just wanted to know that I know in the beginning we had a call for people who are interested in serving on the committee. There'd be a certain term that they would serve for, and then there would be a call for people who are interested again. I don't recall seeing a call going out for anyone, so just curious, Councillor Tepper, could you provide for the next package an update on how long the members have been serving when they have put in the calls, and what the process is about bringing new committee members in for the History House Advisory Committee? I know that we had some infrastructure in place around how that would be set up. Just wanted to get an update on where to coming in and how we're looking at bringing in new people and making sure that there's equal opportunity for people in the community to participate. Thank you.
We never did have a full quota for that committee
That's what I
of
thought.
11.
Yeah.
So if there's any open or vacancies, then somebody, you know, you gotta bring a name to council for approval.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the case when we.
But I'll check on how many, who's serving now.
My recollection, we set that up, sort of.
No, I'll check and see how, you know, because I was appointed by council to be, you know, a member of that committee. So it's usually for a 2-year term, like you said. But I'll see how long that goes back, because we haven't had any change on the committee in a while, so, yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah, and there was a part that we put together, that's the reason why I bring it up, because we looked at having a call for it every year, every 2 years as it came out. So I just wanted to ask, like, if we are looking at bringing people in, if we don't have enough people, it might be a good time to have an open call and see where things go from there. But thank you, sorry for speaking over the
Yeah.
time delay, thanks.
The last one to be approved actually was Mike Byrne
Right.
last year. So somebody new did come on board then.
Okay, thank you.
Same process.
All righty, infrastructure and public works, Councillor Appleby.
Okay, I'll take over
You're
for
gonna
you.
See, there's where I got
Yes,
confused. There's where I got confused. It was Councillor Appleby asked Councillor Manning to do the report, not you.
Councillor Manning presented.
Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Manning.
No problem. Just want to make note that this is more of an update than anything, even though because we couldn't have our full meeting that morning because of an illness, you know, and we just spoke about some things here. So everything there, the trail developments for 2023 and 25 is an update from the director. I'm not going to go down through all of it. Certainly if you have any questions, just speak up and let me know. We got a bunch of motions here that I'm going to start going through here now, if everyone's okay with that. So the first one is the Canada Community Building Fund. Roads Project 2025. There were 5 different consultants that a request went to, and the 3 responded are there. The motion is motion to award the consulting portion of the 2025 roads project to Inglo in the amount of $99,935, HST inclusive. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay,
Carried.
thank you. New projects for 2025, they're all listed there. Once again, I'm not going to go down through each one, but if there's any questions, please put your question forward. We have the director right here on hand. It's good to go. So the panel replacement at lift station 216 Marine Drive. A request for pricing went out to 3 contractors, and those are the prices we received. The motion is motion to award the Marine Drive panel replacement project to Cal Technical Services in the amount of $31,045.58, HST inclusive. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. Okay, moving on, which as you can see, it's the time of year now, we're gonna get moving on all these things. Water distribution model project. Request for fees was sent out to 5 different consultants and 4 were returned. The motion is motion to award the water distribution model project 2025 to Englobe in the amount of $55,497.05 HFST inclusive. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Next, we have the patch pavement 2025 project. Once again, the request went out for pricing, 4 came back. Motion to accept H&M Paving as the lowest bidder for the patch paving project 2025 in the amount of $75,170.50 plus HST. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, I have to take a drink. All right. Next, line painting project. Went out for pricing, 3 quotes came back. Motion to award the annual line painting contract to Tough Coat in the amount of $11,730 plus HST. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, I have another one, another motion here that was handed out to you guys. It's the Tyndale Pump House project. Once again, a request went out to bidders. We had 3 bidders come in. Motion to award the supply of stainless steel spools, piping, for the Tyndale Drive Pump House project to Cal Technical Services in the amount of $16,377.96 HST inclusive. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, I'll move on now to the Canada Community Building Fund. Different projects down here, the Torvay Volunteer Fire Department Town Office Safety Lights. The update is there. This work is going to be completed first thing in the spring.
Can I ask a question on that? It was the only question that I've got on the whole thing, but that's been there forever, saying about the spring. And so I guess there's an insurance issue before the lights can get installed. But do we have any idea when that insurance issue is going to get rectified, Brian?
Yeah, so the insurance issue is finally rectified, and we're just waiting for it whether to finally change totally to spring, and we will, it'll get done then.
I know, we're just looking for a date, just so
Yeah.
that we can get that
Yeah.
cleared in there from
I
the
don't
fire
have a solid
department,
date,
right?
I'm waiting to hear back from the contractor on it.
Okay.
Like I said, all the poles and everything are ready to go, we just gotta fix that one thing that was damaged, so. And one thing I just wanted to note, I'm not sure if the Councillor Manny was going to, but if you notice too, under all these projects now, I've also got a list of budgets and some loose
Yes.
timelines, which will help you guys out as well.
All right. Thank you. All right, carry on.
Okay, I know this is all certainly important stuff, and I'm really not going to go down through each individual thing because we've all had the opportunity to go through the package. Are there any questions, outstanding questions, or anything that pops out that someone needs more information on or would like clarification on? There is a lot there, certainly.
Did you want to speak, Brian?
Yeah, I just want to add one thing in there. Under item 4B is the spring bulk garbage cleanup. I know that's always a big topic. So like I said, that is coming up now, May 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. and we'll be doing our annual community cleanup and barbecue at the same time. So keep your eye to your mailboxes and social media for posting on that. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Councillor Pollard?
I guess some clarification on the wetland study. It sort of bothers me we might be eligible now for transitional authority until 2030, which is great from, I guess, from a need to go out and get the funding to find a solution perspective. And we went out to RFP, or we did an RFP, and it was supposedly stopped at TI for us to go back out and look at all the alternative technologies again, which we thought we had done so many years ago and spent so many dollars on in bringing the report for the best available technology at the time. And now it's saying that we're going to go down that road again. Am I reading that correctly? And who's driving the bus on that? Is that a transportation, TI pushing that, or?
Yes, it's TI and Water Resources, actually. So basically what's going on there is, like I say, we went in last year and we only were looking at the wetland treatment stuff. So that's the reason they sort of flagged it and wanted to clarify some things with us. So like I said, I met with them last week, and actually had Environment and Climate Change Canada on the call as well. And that's where the Transitional Authority thing came up, that because back in 2014, when we did that study and when we submitted numbers, they were theoretical numbers. So they weren't, Environment and Climate Change Canada couldn't offer any transitional authority to the town. So right now we've got numbers since late 2019, 2020. So it looks like we may be able to get that transitional authority to bring us to 2030 or maybe possibly beyond. And that's where Water Resources and Environment Climate Change Canada came in. And there's only, of the wetland treatment systems, there's 1,500 treatment systems across Canada. There's only 6 wetland treatment systems across Canada, there's 1,500. And of those, there's no solid, I'm not sure if I should say this, there's no solid evidence that they meet all the requirements of Environment Climate Change Canada. So that's the reason they're suggesting that we go out and look at alternative technologies, but also include that to see if we can get some better numbers. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, sort of. Does the 2030 Transitional Authority bring this down a priority list for us in terms of what we're going to try to do? And there is 2 things to it. Number one, it's been on the go for a long period of time, and we've spoken the need for us to do something with the outfall, and even from an environmental tourism aspect, it drives, I guess, all residents of Torbay crazy. You have to look at that all the time as well. But that whole solution, I certainly wouldn't want that pushed any further back. We may need to, given the whole other financing issues we have on the books at the present time. I'm just wondering what the, I guess my point is I don't want to see that lose the sense of urgency out of that.
Yeah, and there's no loss of urgency around it at all. The Transitional Authority, all that does, it gives the town a better buffer to know that we can go to 2030. Right now, technically, Environment Climate Change Canada can come to the town, and we can be arrested. There you go. Yep.
So,
Myself and Kim and Sam.
any other questions? Because I have a question. So, and it's as it relates to the transitional authorization. M&L worked with the federal government to reopen those regs, right, to be able to get these transitional authorizations. When the list came out, after they had reevaluated everything and opened it up, our town still didn't qualify for the transitional authorization. So what I'm understanding now, because I had talked to federal officials about this, is that the numbers that they had used to determine we weren't eligible were theoretical numbers and not our actual readings. And when you put our readings in, we would qualify. It really, really, really bugged me, because we were one of the only municipalities in the entire province that didn't qualify when they reopened the regs for transitional authorization. And now I understand the reason why.
Yeah.
Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, you are, yeah. We may qualify.
Right, yeah.
We may.
Yeah.
But so that's what it was theoretical numbers, because we didn't have any hard facts at the time, because we didn't have proper flow meter in place.
Okay.
We didn't have the proper testing in place, but we've had that in place now for a number of years, and you got to have two consecutive good years of data.
Yeah.
And we got those. There was one number that was an outlier, and during the meeting, when they asked me about the number, I went back and looked at my numbers, and the number they had, and compared to the number that we had actually collected, was two different numbers, so that's what they're saying, a maybe.
Okay,
Right.
excellent,
Yeah.
because I did have a discussion with those people when I was in Gander last year, specifically about the fact that we didn't qualify, and they actually went back to you about it and said they were looking for additional numbers.
Yep.
That we could, yeah, okay, excellent.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad that that kinda is going down that road. Thank you very much. All right, any other questions? All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
There are other municipalities that are using these wetlands in the province right now as sewage treatment systems. Brian, can you go back and find out how they were able to be able to put these in play and see how that works if they're telling us right now that we can't? The other part of this conversation, this ties back to the lobbying that we did in December with the Federation of Municipalities around direct funding for projects like this and working through finding solutions. But I think it's really important that we look at it because there are other municipalities that are looking at this. And the thing with the wastewater conversation that we've been looking at is trying to find cost-effective ways to deal with this situation, which gives us the ability to implement a solution that makes sense for residents. So if you can go back and have a look and see what happened with the other communities and what kind of lessons are we taking from those who have implemented, that'd be really helpful in this discussion. And if I could, I just want to extend a thank you to Councilman Pollard for the delivery of the report today. I'm joining you virtually.
Not a problem.
All right, thank you. Recreation and Community Services, Councilor Manning.
Okay, we had our meeting on Wednesday, April the 9th, myself and Councillor Appleby and Director Martin. Attached certainly is the minutes. Program and events, we discussed the summer programs and events. The discussion concerning the capacity for the summer programs and events due to we're down to a single coordinator now shortly, and looking at timing and how long it'll take to get someone else in that position. So waiting that the directors will bring it back now to committee once the job posting is closes. Tom and Torbay, director updated committee about the adult concert and dance will be held now on August 1st, and will feature Rum Rocket as well as an opening act. And also there will also be events held on August the 2nd and August the 3rd. And the weekend will feature something certainly for all ages. So the staff's working hard on that and get things into place there. I wanted to touch on the registration. Like for anyone who does not have access to the e-services or certainly needs support with it, that it is available in person 7 days a week. As we just, it was just noted now in the Human Resources Committee, just hired 3 part-time front counter persons. So, and as it always has been, the desk is covered 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. So that there's always someone there. You should be able to reach someone anytime at all for any help, including going through the email process and touch bases with someone. Easter events, I'm happy to say I was over there Saturday morning to help with the Easter breakfast. A lot of happy little kiddies going around. The Easter Bunny came in around. Everything, from my perspective, seemed to go very well there. Everyone walked in. I was there in the front line there as everyone walked in. They were all smiling, and they also had smiles coming back out. So I'd like to say to the staff that a lot of hard work done, and thanks very much. But and certainly, especially to the volunteers that were there that helped out. That's what I enjoyed, is the behind the scenes there. So that was good. And also I got to touch on the Easter Bunny Easter egg hunt they had in around the ball field and stuff. From a 6-year-old's perspective, I'm still hearing about it, how excellent it was. But then it was a map, but then I had to look at the numbers. So hats off to the staff for organising that. And if that one 6-year-old is any indication of the rest of the kids in there, job well done, everyone. I'll go on to the facilities near now, the History House. They're looking at and waiting for the final report now on the as you were saying, the mold issue up there down in the basement up there. Outdoor field rentals, the staff are in the process of getting that organised. Under other, you have the age-friendly assessment. This survey is still ongoing, and the data will be collected and reviewed by Recreate Consultant. That's who sent out the survey. Once the data is reviewed, the consultant will meet with various community groups, and my understanding is that meeting will be individually with each group. I could be wrong, but that's my understanding. Okay, and certainly if anyone has any questions, feel free to contact the director, Director Martin, and directly or call the consultants. Safe Action Community Plan. Director updated committee on the meetings that have occurred with the high school, and they're still meeting to get this going and get the two groups together. So in my report, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask.
I just want to mention, again, I want us to be careful. The facilities history house is mentioned there again. I touched base on the mole issue in my report, and it's here again, which is great. But I think that maybe if there's a similar issue like this, the two directors can get together and make sure we send out the same message on whatever we want to mention, right?
Okay.
I think that's important. But I appreciate where you're coming from, but it's we got to be careful.
Understandable, yeah.
I'd rather see it there
Can I
twice
speak
than
to
once.
that, please? My understanding, Jen spoke to it earlier in the meeting, is that the facilities maintenance falls under the Recreation Community Services Department. That's what her staff are responsible for. And that is work that we are doing within our community, because it falls within the mandate of what staff is being asked to do. So my understanding is that is within the purview of our committee. I would ask maybe Sandy if you can go back and have a look at this concern that Councillor Tapper just brought forward. I think that is a fair point, and maybe what we do is we provide the update in the committee that is dealing with the facilities management, and then if there's a liaison between directors in conversation, absolutely. But I do think that's an appropriate comment, and we do need to make sure that the work that committees and staff are being asked to do stays within that purview. So I'll leave that with you, Sandy, if that's okay to follow up and figure out what needs to be done. But my understanding is that's the responsibility of the Recreation and Community Services Committee at this point.
I'm not questioning whose responsibility is. I just want to say, be careful if we're reporting from two committees on the same topic, that we got to send out the same message.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. I'll make
Thank
sure of
you.
that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. All right, any other questions?
And to be clear, I fully agree with that, Ralph. That's, I guess, the point I was trying to make. The committee that's responsible for that should be the one reporting that. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
That's what the message I was trying to share. Thanks.
All right, liaison committees, Atlantic Mayor's Conference, I don't have any update. Intergovernmental Affairs, I reached out to MHA Wall just to let him know that we were trying to set up a meeting with Minister Hutton, and that if I needed him to mobilize him in any way to facilitate that, I would. I've also been copied on several emails from residents to MHA Wall and to our staff here in regards to some items that fall under the provincial's jurisdiction, and that residents may not really understand that at the time, so I kind of looped MHA in, and one of them was about a particular sign that could go in the merge out on Turvey Road, and another one was some drainage on Bowling Line, and another one was the turn lane potential on the bypass road. So it's there's lots of communication ongoing there between us, and he's hard at work trying to get them things straightened out. So just to let you know. All right, Jack Byrne.
Thank you, Your Worship. We met last Thursday night for our quarterly board meeting and annual general meeting. The financial statements were presented at that point in time, and I haven't, once I get the final copies, I have the drafts attached here, but once I get the finals, I'll pass them on. The arena operated first time in a long time in a loss situation. We lost approximately $8,600 from operations, and that's strict cash in, cash out, so we say. The revenues were up around $40,000 or so. We're approaching $1 million in revenue. The ice time is pretty well utilized in terms of the prime times and the times that ice usually gets used, and there are a lot of special events. One of the big, well, it cost a fortune to light the place, some $200,000 to start off with, to do that, and we're starting to incur more and more repairs and maintenance, as I have said on a number of occasions now, and we're still in the process of doing the overall evaluation of the assets that we have and what it looks like. We're just waiting now on a report coming back from the roof and whatever is attached to the roof as well, to find out what condition they're in and where that stands, and then we're going to do a sort of projected expenditure side of things. So anyway, so for the year, for loss from operations was $8,600. We're still projecting this year to be a positive side of things as well, somewhere in the area of $20,000. Always trying to balance what the cost of providing the service to minor hockey and users are versus what the actual operating costs are. The challenge, I guess, is there's seems to be a lot of pushback from the users in relation to what other towns and other arenas do, and there's very few other arenas that are not subsidized. So I did say that I was going to reach out to a couple of towns to find out what exactly those subsidies look like and do some type of comparative on operations overall. I don't suspect that it's going to yield much other than the fact that, yes, the subsidies make up for the reason that these other arenas do exist. But, the positive note on this is, I guess, we're still above board at this point in time. And looks like we will be able to get through this year on a positive note. Now, given the small numbers that we use, i.e., $30,000, that could turn tomorrow in some type of major repair and maintenance that needed to be done. The other thing I've noted in the financials, once it is distributed, now you'll see a loss overall of $42,000. That includes depreciation. We don't really. That's a bigger discussion. That gets into the whole asset management, no different than what the town does. The town puts depreciation on all their assets when they're reporting versus cash in, cash out. Then it's a different story as well. But the note that we do still have there is the one relating to CRA and what impact that audit will have on us, and it's probably in the area of some $200,000. So right now it's still status quo, just waiting for CRA to get back to us on that. The operation should not need anything from the town, at least this fiscal year. It is the intention still to have a report back to councils in terms of what it may look like moving forward, and that's the intention of getting that asset evaluation and finding out what that looks like. And then at least the town will have the ability then to make a decision, towns will have the ability to make a decision as to what service they want to offer in terms of minor hockey and whether or not subsidies are in talk or anything along those lines. Premature conversation right now, I'm just saying, just throwing the heads up out there, and that's what will be coming back from a meeting. Other than that, it was, positive. I mean, it runs fairly well on a day-to-day basis. There's not a whole lot of complaints. Users seem to be fairly confident and happy with the service that's being provided. The building is getting old. I mean, it's 18 years old now or something along those lines. So a bigger discussion maybe down the road. Not unlike most town assets who things aren't said about until there's actually something going wrong with them, so.
Any, I do have just two quick questions, one comment and a question. You can be rest assured, because I talk to people from particularly the UMC towns about their arenas and their swimming pool operations. And they would love if they only had to pay $8,000 a year to operate their facilities. They are operating in the hundreds and hundreds of thousands to in the red, is it? In the red? Every year to operate their rinks and their swimming pools, and you know, even into the millions. So I think that we're pretty lucky in this circumstance. Jackburn Arena is probably the only arena in the province that doesn't cost the towns an arm and a leg every year for operation, so we're good that way. Tony, are we looking at any type of grant or anything to upgrade lighting to LED?
We have the LED lights already, we're just waiting to get them installed now. We purchased them towards the end of last year.
Okay.
There is a proposal in for a grant for some other equipment and upgrades that we're waiting on as well, so hopefully we'll know that within the next couple of months anyway in terms of what it looks like.
Okay, excellent.
I got that somewhere, I can bring that forward next meeting, I just don't have it in front of me at the present time, but there is substantial dollar amount put in for funding by the arena manager and things of that nature, so.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Can I
Go ahead.
ask?
Yep.
I know it's been discussed before, but with the town of Portugal called St. Philip's, is there any ongoing discussion as to them providing subsidies for the Jackburn because of their use of the facility?
That gets broached every annual general meeting, and I guess every meeting, and the answer is yes. The intent is to go back to Portugal St. Philip's based on the numbers of children that do participate, and they did contribute some dollar amount to the last purchase of Zamboni as well, right? $25,000, something along those lines. So that certainly helped, and there's a recognition on the town's part at that point in time that, you know, they do utilize the arena. I guess the challenge is the capital. I think the capital discussions has always been the issue between the Portugal St. Philip's and the rest of the towns. Operationally, I guess they contribute no different than anybody else does on an hour by hour basis, and if you removed the Portugal St. Philip's children from that group, it'd be much more expensive on the remaining users as well. So we do look at all that, but we definitely tend to go back to Portugal St. Philip's, especially for some of the larger capital expenditures that are going on now, just as you know, recognition that they do participate equally from an operation perspective overall, and that's the way
That's good, yeah.
they seem to agree to it before. So I guess
Yeah.
that was the plan that came out of the meeting, to go back for some of the larger cost shares.
Okay. All right, thank you. Northeast Avalanche Drain Council. Deputy Mayor.
We had our meeting last week. The package that we had is in there. It was interesting that came up where town of Torbay had received a $20,000 for the transportation study. And I guess there's another call out now for this year. So I know a while back we talked about having any funding that we had applied for, if we received it, if we didn't, and having a listing, an ongoing listing. There was one on the back of Noah's report that we all thought was really good, because I know there was another funding came out, it was extended actually, and I went back to Recreation with it, and they said that they already had applied on the first round, so we could get back to that. So again, I had Kerry invited to come down to the mayor's and deputy mayor's meeting, so I guess there was probably some people who weren't aware of this funding coming out for the feasibility study for the Killy Coast. So can I just ask, since we can have, I guess, Kerry for the next step on this, because we have got the funding, and you're doing it on behalf of the Killy Coast, so where is it to currently?
So the contract has been awarded to a company called Fundamental. They'll do the background research around how a transportation network could look, where we could get funding for the capital piece. The public engagement piece is the responsibility of the town, so we'll do that collaboratively over the next, I would say, within 6 weeks. The consultant will help us put that together with regards to questions. There'll also be an online survey and a hard copy survey that'll be available at every community town office.
Okay. So the bottom line with that, that's being communicated out to the other towns through, I'm assuming, through your meetings with the other
And
CAOs.
Kerry's dealing with them directly as well.
And yes, so that, because no matter how much, I guess, we want to communicate, there's always somebody that says, you know, if this is actually happening or what's going on with it. So just to put a communication out there and keep it in the forefront where it's the joint. And maybe if we were hoping to have that meeting, that was last month, maybe before, like once we get into May, then everything stops. Maybe you can just touch base with your colleagues and see if we can get another one, because we can host it here, because I had Kerry for 2 different things to speak to the group about that anyway.
Yeah, I'll reach out.
And just, see if we can get one again. It'll be the middle of May now before we really get one, so, all right. Okay, that's it.
Great, thank you. RNC, just one thing I just mentioned to Sandy. So I've been getting lots of emails and text messages and phone calls about ATVs again now. It's
Time of year,
getting warmer. Can we reach out to the RNC and ask for some additional patrols and see what information they can give us to share with residents as well about reporting, please?
The RNC talked about that on this here as well.
Yeah.
And for anything, if there's any training, like Sergeant Slaney, to reach out to him and he would come. That's part where he's on those calls every month. And to let us know if there's anything that we need to call him.
Okay. All right.
Mayor, can I just ask for something quick there?
Yeah.
There was some communication at the Eagles Ridge about something that they had concerns about that would have been an RNC issue as well. I can't remember what it was at this point. But maybe if we can ask our communications team to consider posting something around, you know, if you see something and it has to do with the RNC, to reach out to them. It's really important that residents understand if you want to have increased controls or things issues addressed, that people know to report it to the RNC so they can consider that in their planning of where their assets are going to be. So it might be good to do another lead visit if we're getting communication from residents about things that they're concerned about. It would be really good to use our communication channels so that people know how to contact them.
Yeah, I do know that
Kind of stuff.
I do know the RNC provides us with social media content, and Cameron shares that on the town Facebook and webpage, and that sometimes deals with how to contact the RNC, and other ones is about awareness of different things, and so, yeah, we can follow up on that.
For sure.
Urban Municipalities Committee, no update. We gave an update last time, didn't we, Ralph? And the next meeting is gonna be the start of municipal symposium. It's gonna be on the 28th or 29th of April in Gander. Oh, my phone is dead. Thanks be to God. All right, so we can update after that. Notice the motion, we got none. What?
Mayor,
Oh, sorry.
can I touch on the fire
Yes, go ahead,
department?
sorry, I
Sorry.
skipped right over you.
You absolutely did.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And normally I wouldn't point it out, but just wanted to say the minutes are there certainly for everyone's read, but a couple of things I wanted to point out. Well, as always, our volunteer firefighters are always in training. And certainly, one of the things I wanted to point out is that from January the 1st up until April the 7th, there have been to date 101 calls. So they have, they've had some very busy times, and I'm not even sure if busy is the right word, but the fact that they are there every time the phone rings and answering those calls indicates the dedication and commitment, certainly. And also on the other side is the educational part and the safety issues with, you know, the public relations going and doing inspections and going to the schools and that. Super, super great. One and last thing I just wanted to point out is that there are now 8 new recruits that are starting tomorrow night. 1 in Flat Rock and 7 here in Torbay. So I just wanted to point that out and point out the interest is still big there to have these amount of new recruits coming in and looking to volunteer. So ends my report on that.
Great, thank you very much. Mary, new business. Number 2. Dun, 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 dun. Councillor Pollard.
Thank you, Your Worship. I had the privilege of attending the Professional Municipal Administrators Gala Dinner as President of Trio, so I usually get to either an M&L function or a PMA function. I just want to, we had 3 staff members with long service awards who were honored at that particular meeting. So I'd like to let everybody know and extend our thanks and congratulations and gratitude. Kim Osmond, who's been in the employ of municipalities for a 10-year period. Jason Slade has been 15 years.
Wow.
And Roxanne Waterman has been 20 years, although she tells me it's actually 21.
21.
Yeah.
She told me that. She said, not 28, 21. So I said, yeah, very good, thanks. So I just wanted to extend congratulations, and it was nice to see that they at least got an award of some kind or a plaque just to acknowledge their contribution to municipalities and mostly, obviously, Torbay right now.
Okay, thank you very much.
We took over.
Did you have something, Murray, you passed?
Pass.
Oh, okay. Councillor Appleby?
Sorry, Councillor.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick thank you to him and staff for setting this up tonight so I could participate virtually. I really appreciate that. Also want to extend and echo Councillor Manning's thank you to the fire department when I read the package and looked at the level of response that have been required, and it's really great to see some new people joining the fire department as well. And also just a reminder that the federal election is happening in 2 weeks, so when we're meeting next again will be election day, and you know, it's really important to make sure that people get out and exercise their right to vote. Understand, you know, what different candidates have to bring, make sure that you understand, you know, what they represent, and please make sure to cast your ballot. So that's it for me. Thanks, Mayor.
Great, thank you. And I think it's around to me. So I want to echo what Councillor Pollard said about our employees who received awards at the PMA conference this past week. And also, thank you to our staff for going to the PMA that was held in St. John's last week. I think it's very important for our staff to be able to get out, go to those things, and participate in those training opportunities, and networking is very important. When, you know, there's nothing better than when you run into a problem, whether you're a staff member or a counselor, then you got a phone number of somebody that you can pick up the phone and give a call and ask their advice about something. It's something that I certainly appreciate and value, and I know that from talking to Kim, I know that she appreciates and values that as well. And as usual, I want to thank our staff and council for all your hard work over the last couple of weeks since the last meeting. We're moving into summer now, hopefully summer. I know that I golfed yesterday and it didn't feel like summer, but it wasn't too bad. It was golf. And I want to thank also our residents that come to our meetings and sit in here and ask us questions and inquire through email and phone calls with staff, and I really appreciate the fact that you email us and talk to staff to get your information, instead of getting it in other places that might not be as accurate as what we can provide. And with that, I would ask, does anybody have any questions that you want to ask? No? Good. And with that, the next public council meeting will schedule to take place Monday, April 28th, 2025, right here in the council chambers in the town of Torbay. And I would entertain a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried, thank you very much.
Hi, Councillor Appleby. Or did you want to stay for a while?
No, thank you, Cameron.
Okay. All right.
See you, Trina.